Alright, so let's jump back in for another round of, of playing the wizards against myself. Gandalf versus Saruman, and we are looking at Gandalf's turn again. So we have two companies. One is in Edelond, one of the havens, the southernmost haven, and one is at the Lonely Mountain, where a lot of the action of The Hobbit took place. And nobody's wounded, so everyone should... Oh, actually, Balin... I'm just noticing now I never tapped Balin. Anyway, he would have had to have tapped to play that card there. I just didn't. I think I intended to. And once these cards are all stacked on top of one another, it can be a little tedious. So that's the untap phase done. And then organization-wise, I am at a haven. Edelund is a haven, so I can bring in Gildor and Glorien. Now I just need to think how I want to do that. So I could bring Gildor in with general influence. I could also bring him in under Gandalf, who currently has 9 unused direct influence. So he'd still have plenty to pick up Lindion later this turn as well. If I put Gildor under him, I think that's what I'm going to do. If we need Gandalf to have more direct influence later, we can shuffle things around at that point. But for this turn, Gildor is going to join the party at Edelond, and there we go. And then this party is going to stay organized as is. And let's think about where we're going to go next. Alrighty, so obviously Gandalf and company are going to Stone Circle to pick up Lindion, our first ally of the game. Well, our first ally on this for Gandalf's team. And Glorfindel and friends are going to go try and find another gold ring. I do not currently have a gold ring in my hand, but I know that I had 6 in total in my play deck, and we've only seen 2 so far, so I think there stands a pretty good chance that we are going to encounter one very soon. There should be 4 in what is becoming a pretty small play deck, and so I'm hoping that we'll just come across one on the way to Iarok. Iarok is there are a number of these dragon horde sites up around here, and we are currently in northern Rivanion at the Lonely Mountain, but the ones that are in the Grey Mountain Narrows are in a Shadowlands, and the ones that are in the Withered Heath are in a wilderness, and all these dragon layers are ruins and layers. So some of the nastiest orcs and baddies can be keyed to Shadowlands, so I think it's safer for us to go to the Withered Heath. So that's why we decided to go to Iarok. Iarok is here. Yeah, you can see it has the same kind of automatic attack as the Lonely Mountain, but it also has 3 and 3. And yeah, we'll just be moving wilderness, so double wilderness and no Shadowlands. So that's what we're going to do. But I think we're going to move with Gandalf's team first, because yes, we need to find some rings to pull. And so yeah, we're moving from Edelon to Stone Circle. There's the 1 and 1, so Shadow of Mordor doesn't matter. It's not an issue here because we can draw only 1 card. And so let's do that. Stirring Bones. Okay, a different artwork on this Stirring Bones, but here we go. This does not help us in this instance, so it doesn't help us for the next company's turn. But nor does it help us get to Stone Circle safely. But our path is wilderness, and we're heading to a ruins and lair, so let's go to the other side. And over here, we only have 1 hazard in hand at the moment, and it's one that really benefits from going after another orc attack. So let's play Halbarad. Alright, Halbarad is a sage, which we desperately need, but not a hazard. So it doesn't help us in this moment. Boy, yeah, that's the one problem with Aragorn's deck, or I should say Saruman's deck. There's a lot of resource cards that that you have to hold in your hand for a little while, and so I'm wondering whether Orc is actually the best hazard type to play with Saruman, but it's flavorful, so I've just got to figure out a way to make it work. Yes, but anyway, back to the subject at hand. I do not want to throw an Orc Lieutenant on. I suppose I could. Gandalf would need to tap, so, but yeah, Gildor would make short work of him, so I think they arrive safely, and then everyone needs to bring their hand back down to 8. Let's just do this on this side while we're here. I'm going to discard Houses of Healing. That would have been nice when we were at Minas Tirith with an injured Éomer, but it didn't come up then. And so, let's, yes, they made it safely. Let's go to there. And now we are, now we need to deal with the movement of Glorfindel's party. And so they are going from the Lonely Mountain to Iron and they can draw up to 3, and we may end up having to do that, even if it means that our opponent draws a bunch of cards, because we've got to make something happen. But let's see what happens. We'll start with 1. All right, there's another Dwarven ring. This one is the Dwarven ring of Thalor's tribe. Taylor's tribe. All right. You may notice I'm not really putting a lot of focus on the ring's ability. The Dwarven rings only work with dwarves, and they force a corruption check on top of the massive 5 corruption points that they give dwarves. So the abilities of the ring, other than the inherent abilities, are all but meaningless, because you'd have to have a lot of modifiers to help prevent a unsuccessful corruption check. So yeah, kind of meaningless these abilities that are listed under here. I have never once considered using them, but yes, the ring in itself is amazing. So that's great, but we need an actual ring item to pull before we can reveal one of these special rings. So let's keep drawing. Baragond, he's over there already. Alright, we're putting ourselves in a little bit of danger because we're allowing them to draw up to 5 now, because of that Shadow of Mordor, and we're increasing our hazard limit to something crazy like 6, I think. But ring lore. Alright. Well, okay, so we're going to arrive at Iron and have nothing to do, but that's okay. Let's see what happens on the other side. Now, over here, as I said, we can draw up to 5 cards, and we can play up to 6 on them, thanks to the Shadow of Mordor. I'm just going to remind us what that looks like. It's one of the most awesome looking cards. It looks really wicked. Really enjoy John Howell's artwork. And yeah, it's a very cool card. So let's start drawing and see if we can make something happen finally. Orc Guard. Alright. Well, that is not playable at the moment. Boromir. Okay. He is not what we're looking for. Minions Stir. Okay, the number of strikes and prowess of each troll and orc attack is increased by 2 if Doors of Night is in play. That would be great if those guys would ever go somewhere where an orc or troll attack is happening, but they, for some reason, seem to be avoiding this. I can't imagine why. We need something that's going to allow us to play an orc at a ruin and lair, or in the wilderness, this orc guard. The Witch King can tap and cause all shadow holds to become dark holds. That doesn't help us. So you're seeing how this is a smart move to go to Irok and avoid the Grey Mountain arrows. Okay. Now I'm stuck at what to do. I don't really want to discard all these great cards that I would like to use in the future, but I'm pretty stuck. Yeah, boy. I don't know. I think we just keep going. I think we just try and make something happen otherwise. Orc Warband. Okay, what's this say? 5 strikes. If played on a company that has already faced an orc attack this turn, they receive +3 prowess. That could be good. Again, I'm sure you're noticing a theme here. These orcs like to be played one on top of the other. Oh boy, alright, so we could draw potentially one more card, but we really need an orc that can be played on them, that is going to then allow us to play this warband and this lieutenant. Let's see, drum roll. And the sapling of the White Tree. Alright, well. Okay, so. Okay, I'm noticing actually that Minion Stir, I was thinking for a moment that it was acted like redoubled force and only affected automatic attacks, but that's not the case. It says it's a long event that the number of strikes and prowess of each orc control attack is increased by 1, 2 if Doors of Night is in play, so that affects all troll and orc attacks. Okay, so that kind of changes things. I think that if we play that, and then we have one or two things we could do. We could play the Orc Lieutenant first, and then that would allow us to. The Orc Lieutenant would have 2 strikes of 9, and would quite likely get defeated. However, then the Orc Warband would get a +3 prowess buff on top of, so that would be +5 with +2 strikes. So 9 strikes, 7 strikes of 9. That's probably the way to go, I think. 7 strikes of 9. I think that's the way to go. Could do it the other way around and let the Orc Lieutenant get buffed, but given the large number of strikes, now I'm wishing we still had Pierced by Many Wounds here. That would push this into the stratosphere as far as as far as deadliness of this attack. But of course, we have no idea whether they may still have another concealment. I'm trying to remember, have they played all 3 concealments? You can only have 3 non-unique cards in a deck, so the likelihood that they have a concealment is low, and of course none of them have an elven cloak either. So, yeah, we might be able to do some damage finally. We've been sort of struggling for a bit, haven't seen much action, but that's what we're going to do. Okay, so here we go. Minions Stir. See this now. The Shadow of Mordor is finally helping us out. Minions Stir, and the number of strikes and prowess is up by 2 thanks to Doors of Night. And then we'll play this Orc Lieutenant. Okay, so this Orc Lieutenant now has 3 strikes of 9. 3 strikes of 9. So let's take a look at our other side and see how they're going to attempt to deal with this. Now, we see this 3 strikes of 9. Not necessarily the worst attack we've ever heard of, especially with these guys that get great buffs against orc attacks. But we're keeping in mind that they have a hazard limit of 6 against us, and so, yeah, buddy. We should assume that there may be other attacks coming, and so we may not want to tap if we don't have to. Let's think about this. We're facing a strike of 9. Someone like Gloin has 5 prowess, but 6 versus orcs. So were he not to tap, that's 3, trying to beat a 9. And the benefit of not tapping is that he could tap to face strikes later and avoid them going to the weaker characters. Yes. So, same with Balin. I believe Balin has Oh, Balin is +2 versus orcs, so he will also be 6 against these strikes. Yes. And then there's the matter of who's actually going to pull this ring. Could always be Glorfindel, but someone's got to face this automatic attack too. I think, yeah. I think we should be prepared to not do anything this turn and just spend a turn waiting before we enter the site. And so, if we must do that, we must. So, and in fact, we don't have anything to pull at this site, so that might not be the worst idea anyway. But they don't know that. So let's. I'm going to have Glorfindel. Well, if Glorfindel doesn't tap to face the strike, then they are the ones who get to assign it. Only people who tap to face the strikes can delegate strikes, have the strikes delegated to them. So, yes. So, I'm trying to clear my mind, pretend like I don't know what's coming next, and what would I really do? I would like to keep Glorfindel untapped if possible. That way, if someone did get injured, I could always tap him to use the herbs, healing herbs. So, let's say these three all tap to face the strike, and we'll see what happens. All right. So Annalina's first. She's trying to beat a attack with a prowess of 9, and oh, she rolled a 4. Uh-oh. So she's wounded. Next, Gloin. He's trying to beat attack with a prowess of 9. He is 6 base, so he's got it. And Balin, same. And he's got it. Wow, too bad Annalina couldn't roll like that. All right, so now we roll for Annalina's body check. She has a body of 8, so let's see if she survives. Oh, she survives. Okay. So, she's wounded, but she survived. Alright, and the orc lieutenant has been dealt with. And that's 2 of possible 6 cards that they could play to attack us. Now, as we mentioned before, I'm just going to reach over here. Boom, Orc Warband. And now, this is a 5. This normally is a 5 strikes of 4 But when if we've already faced orcs, an orc attack, then they get a +3 prowess, so it's 5 strikes of 7, and then thanks to Minion Stir, it's 7 strikes of 9. 7 strikes of 9. Yowza. Okay. 7 strikes of 9 coming at us. So, they probably assume I'm going to try and keep They may try and burn down Glorfindel. They also may try and kill Annalina. I'm not sure what would they try and do. But Glorfindel is going to tap. Well, does he really need to? I don't know. This is the part where the order of operations is a little unclear. So, all right. So, according to the rules, the people tap, and then the extra strikes are allocated. So there's not much I can do to keep him from burning down Annalina, if that's what he intends to do. Glorfindel, if he does not tap, yeah, he still stands a pretty good chance of beating it, unless they focus him down. Interesting. So it's kind of darned if you do, darned if you don't, because if he doesn't tap, they'll likely put the extra strikes on him. And there are 3 extra strikes, so that could make a big difference. So I'm going to tap him. Now, that means they probably won't apply those extra strikes to him, and they'll put them on someone else, but, yeah, I'd rather that than lose Glorfindel with a bad roll. So, let's tap Glorfindel, and then everyone else takes their attacks. So, yes, now the other side, seeing that that happened, is going to apply the additional 3 strikes to... Could take out one of these dwarves. Could, or I could just focus down Annalena. I think they want to, I think, boy, I don't know what to do. I feel like Annalena might die anyway. We could allocate some to one and some to another. Let's do that. So we're going to apply 2 of the additional strikes to, who's better, Gloin or Balin? 2 of the additional strikes to Balin, and 1 to Annalena. So we're trying to beat 9, and Balin has been reduced to 3, prowess of 3. He has 5 plus 1. He has 4 plus 1 against. Plus 2 against orcs, so that would normally be 6. So he's been, but he was already tapped, so he's been reduced down to 3, and trying to beat a 9. So let's do Balin first. All right, he did it. Okay. Right? 3, yes. 3 plus 7 is 10. Okay, yes, good. Okay, so Balin defeated his strike, and then Gloin is working with prowess of 5 to beat 9. Alright, yep, he did it. Annalena has had 1 additional strike applied to her, and so she's already wounded, so her prowess would be 2. That brings her, 1, that brings her prowess down to 0. 0 to beat 9. She does not do it, so she's wounded. She'll need to make a body check. And then Glorfindel, he has prowess of 8 to beat 9. There's no need to even roll. He beat his heartily. And so now we do a body check for Annalena, but it's modified by -1 because she was already wounded. Okay, so that's 7. She has a body of 7. I believe she survives. Let me check that. Yes, the rules say greater, so she just survived by the skin of her teeth, but she did survive. Okay, so she's wounded, and everyone else is tapped, and the orc warband goes away, and these guys are laughing over here, thinking they kept them from doing anything, not knowing that they really had nothing to do once they got there. But let me make sure, absolutely sure, that there's nothing else to do. We've done 3 against the potential 6. No, I think that's it. And now we are faced with the question of what to do. Erkenbrand is someone I really would love to bring in. He is another Edoras homesite character that can take advantage of Theoden's red arrow, but Halbarad is also a great guy who brings much needed sage ability, and Boromir is good too. He's got amazing prowess for a 4-mind character. And so that's something to think about as well. Yeah. Alright. And the sapling of the White Tree is a major item that we could go get. That's something that, in fact, that just so many good things to do, and I'm not sure in which order to do them. I'm going to discard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to discard Boromir and the Orc Guard. I know that Gandalf and friends are and Sam are traveling through pretty safe territory, and it's unlikely I'm going to be able to execute an awesome attack like that against them. So yeah, I'm just going to focus on my next turn and get rid of the orcs for now. Unlikely to be able to use soon, and I need to focus on getting some of this stuff done. Although the Men of Lebanon, Peligir is such a way out of the way place too. Oh boy. But yeah, having 3 characters in your hand is ridiculous. You can only play 1 per turn, so that's just not good, not efficient use. Okay. Alright, and now on this side. Icy Touch actually cannot be played on Aragorn because it says that it must be played on a character who does not currently have corruption cards. And it has to be someone who's been wounded by an undead attack. But we might be able to get them with one of the other characters with this. Yeah. I think I'd like to keep all 4 of these hazards. And so that means we're going to need to get rid of one of these cards. Baragon, it's got to go. And that means 2 more. So I think it's going to be one of these magic rings and then the Ents. We'll just have to get the Ents later. None of our party is really near Wellinghall. So no Ents for now, and I think I just prefer the Ring of Nature to the Ring of Stealth. Alright. So, there we go. We've discarded down. And, hooray! Lonely Mountain gets discarded, and the party of Glorfindel is at Irock. Now let's move on to Gandalf's company. And they are moving from Edelon to Stone Circle, and they, 1/1, a double wilderness, ruins and lair. We would, as much as I like this hand at the moment, I still do need a ring at some point. So I'm going to draw the 1. Ghouls. Okay. And then over on this side, I could always discard the Men of Lebanon for now. Choking Shadows. Okay. So this modifies the prowess of 1 automatic attack at a ruin and lair by 2. The ruin and lair that they're going to currently is +1 strike. 1 strike with the prowess of 9. It's men, Puckle men. So Gildor doesn't get his buff, his orc buff against that. Good thing it's not orcs actually, because they are super buffed at the moment. Yeah. I don't really see any downside to playing this. It may not hamper them much, but it may. So, Choking Shadows. We're going to play that, Choking Shadows. And then... So Gandalf arrives at Stone Circle, put Edelon back over here. It's a haven, doesn't get discarded. So they're at Stone Circle, and we need to bring our hand back to 8. Feels like I'm constantly doing this. Alright, we're going to get rid of ghouls. They're not going into the Shadowlands very much at the moment, so that's not going to be helpful for us for now. Alright, and now we begin the site phases, the respective site phases. These guys can't do much at their sites. They're going to choose not to enter the site this turn, so they're just waiting outside the outside. Meanwhile, Gandalf over here, they are going to attempt to enter the Stone Circle, and I'm just gonna, just gonna go for it. The Gildor is gonna tap to face the strike. What normally would be a 1 strike with a prowess of 9 is now a 1 strike with a prowess of 11, thanks to the Choking Shadows. And yeah, I mean, we could wait for that to go away, but we gotta get moving. This is a race. 4. Yikes! All right, Gildor is wounded. Oh no, are we gonna lose him as quickly as we picked him up? This would not be This would not be a noble end for an elf. Oh boy. Body check. He has a body of 7. Not great. I guess I could have tapped Sam to help him with +1. It wouldn't have made a difference. Okay, he survives. Okay, so Gildor is wounded by those pucklemen, but he survives. How do you say that? Pucklemen? Wounded by those pucklemen, but he survives. Okay. And then Gandalf is going to tap the site to pull in Lindion the Oranine. And Lindion the Oranine is a warrior ally. So the way that allies work is they are... they do not contribute to the hazard limit. They do not, they do not count as characters in any respect except in combat, for healing, and with their abilities. So him being a warrior ally, if there's a card that requires someone be a warrior, he can also use that card. So they are characters in those 3 senses. They are characters for combat, they are characters for healing, and they are characters with their skills, but not when it comes to hazard limits and other things. They are kind of outside of those counts. So great, and he has prowess of 3 and a body of 9, and he can cancel spider and animal attacks. He can tap to cancel one of those attacks. So great guy, great little ally to have. And yes, I guess sort of like a Fey spirit. And he is... Alright, that's what we've done at that site. So, that is the end of our turn, and at this point we can discard 1 and, if we want, and draw up to 8. Yes, I would love to get moving through this deck, but we have their turn to go. We have their turn to try and do that, so let's just not discard 1. Smoke rings. Hello. Okay, great. This is the card I'm talking about. Bring 1 resource or character from your sideboard or discard into your play deck and shuffle. And that doesn't even require that your play deck have at least 5 cards. It could be the very last card, or the very next to last card, I believe. So, all right, good stuff. Alright, so on this side I've already gone ahead and untapped everyone, and obviously Haima's still wounded, but yeah, everyone else is able to untap, and I can remove one of these Lure of Natures once we get to the organization phase. But yes, I think that what we will do this turn, what we intend to do, is for Aragorn and company to go to the Glittering Caves. It's 1 region away. It's in the Gap of Isen. We're currently in Fangorn, so just 1 region away, a pretty safe trip, and it's we'll go pick up this major item, the sapling of the White Tree, which of course that's where saplings grow, right, in Glittering Caves, so that's where we're going to go pick that up, and then eventually it can be stored in Minas Tirith for double the marshalling points. And yeah, and then I think I'll have Saruman go to Lorien. Haima can heal up, and we may just have Saruman sit at Lorien for a bit and use the Palantir to see what he can see. All right, and so we're in the organization phase still. And I'm going to play this card, Chance Meeting. Character, even a hobbit, may be brought into play with direct influence at any freehold, border hold, or ruin and lair. And I'm going to bring in Erkenbrand. So he has 4 mind, Haima has 2, Theoden has this arrow that gives him +5 direct influence against people with a home side of Edoras. And but he also has an additional 3 influence. So, yes, he can control those guys with 2 to spare, and that's great. And so we have a new character, Erkenbrand, along with Saruman, and that's the only character we can play this round. And then, yes, while we're in our organization phase, Aragorn is going to roll to get rid of one of these Lure of Natures off of him. He did so. Okay, so one of these goes bye-bye. And I suppose I could do what I did with Aragorn and his ally follower and put him on the other side of Gandalf. Put this guy on the other side of Gandalf. Yes. All right. Anyway, it gets confusing after a while. It's so many cards stacked on stacked on stacked. Yes, but okay. So we got rid of that one of those two corruption cards that was weighing on our minds. And yeah, so that's done with the organization phase. And so, as I said, these guys will be going to Lorien, and these guys will be going to the Glittering Caves. Hooray. Alright. And, yes, so it doesn't really matter which one we do, although I really don't want anything to happen to good old Saruman. So let's I don't know. This is difficult. Yeah, let's do... I don't know. This is a tricky one. I don't want anything to happen to Aragorn either. But let's deal with Saruman first, I guess. He's the wizard. So we are traveling from Isengard to Lorien. You can see the side path is listed on the card. It's Borderlands, Wilderness. We're leaving out of a ruin and lair and heading to a haven. So hazards can be played to ruins and lairs, Borderlands, or Wilderness. Single wilderness. And so let's see what they've got. And they could draw up to 2, but if we draw more than 1, then we're still affected by the Shadow of Mordor permanent event. So we are going to draw 1. Many turns and doublings. Ranger only. Okay. Is anybody a ranger? Oh, actually Saruman is a ranger. Alright. So cancel. Ranger only, cancel an attack by wolves, spiders, animals, or undead. That's fantastic. And it doesn't even require us to tap. Alright, so let's keep that in mind. And we're not going to draw any more than that because I don't want them to be able to draw more than 2 or have a hazard limit of more than 4. Or for us to have a hazard limit more than 4. So they could draw up to 2. They are not limited by the Shadow of Mordor. Wood Elves. Okay. Barrow White. Alright. Barrow White's a strong undead, but only keys to Shadow Holds and Dark Domains. So, what to do? Lure of Expedience cannot be applied to wizards or hobbits. How much unused general influence do they have? Remind me. Okay, they have 5 unused general influence. We could play Muster Disperses, and that was the whole point of tapping the Nazgul to bring that into the play deck. If we manage to do so, that could really mess them up with the Sentinels of Numenor. Affects a faction already in play. The faction makes a roll. The faction is discarded if the roll plus the unused general influence is less than 11. I feel like that's awfully high. This card is just so strong. Too strong. But, okay. So, yes. I think we play that. Muster Disperses on the Woses of Druadan Forest. And let's roll. So they have 5. Have to beat, what is it? 11? Less than 11. Okay. So if we get a 6 or more, we've avoided this. 6. Okay. Woo! That's dicey. Yikes. All right. Might be worth looking into. Even putting, even giving the red arrow to Saruman and having Theoden and all those guys under him. That's something to consider. Okay, wow, that was too close for comfort from their perspective. From our perspective, it was a real bummer. I'm trying not to play favorites. So, Lure of Expedience, we could not play that. We could play that on Theoden, and he already has 3 corruption points. What do they have to roll to get rid of that? 5, so it's a pretty easy one to get rid of. We could hit them with Stirring Bones, and at this point, I need to ask myself whether, how important is it for Saruman to remain untapped this turn? I mean, if he remains untapped, he could use the Palantir once he gets to Lorien. However, I'm just trying to think. I believe that we kept this card for a reason, and that the first thing we would do, again, I'm trying to play with 2 minds, and the whole reason I kept this Marvel's Told was to get rid of the Moon is Undead. So, I'm going to stick to that. That was the reason I did that, but I would say the first thing we do heading out before our enemy even has time to play an undead creature on us is that I'm going to tap Saruman to play Marvel's Untold, or Marvel's Told. Now that means he has to play a corruption check modified by 2, -2. So, yeah, this could be the end of the game. Oh, the Palantir's up 2 as well. Oh man, is this the right thing to do? I mean, I'm running the risk of losing the game right here. Just to get rid of this environment card. When we're going to pick up a Sage, you know what? It's just too risky. I mean, the risk is very low. But if I were to roll a 4 or less, that would be the end of the game, I believe. That's how that works. So according to the rules, if you fail a corruption check, if your roll is equal to or 1 less than your corruption point total, then you're discarded but not eliminated. So in that case, I'm assuming that when a wizard is discarded, they're also not eliminated, and they just go back into the discard pile and could come back again at a later time. So it's less risky. I mean, we're talking about 2 corruption points, and our roll would be modified by 2. So were we to roll a 2, that would be the only situation where we were eliminated. Rolling a 3 would be a 1, so we would, or a 4 would be a 2, so we would be discarded but not eliminated. I mean, that would still be a bummer. Don't get me wrong. But it wouldn't be, I don't know, still seems too risky. We do have this many turns and doublings too, so I'm going to not do that. We're going to sit on Marvel's Told. We're going to hopefully get a new Sage in our party come next turn, and he can tap to play Marvel's Told, and he won't have any corruption. So, and he's a 1-mind character, so whatever. If he's lost, he's lost. Yeah, I just don't, I mean, you know, as soon as I do that, I'm going to roll Snake Eyes, right? So I just don't want to risk it. So, yeah, they're not going to do that. So here we are, and now what we could play is Stirring Bones. Sorry for that little detour, but I really needed to think that out. Here we are at Stirring Bones, and we've got 3 strikes of 10 with the Moon is Dead buff. So 3 strikes of 10, and they have they're headed to a haven. So I know that they're probably not too hesitant to tap folks, but 3 strikes of 10, yeah. I mean, yeah, Erkenbrand only has prowess of 5, so I think I'm willing to give that a shot. Let's go for it. If they lose, then the Moon is Dead is discarded anyway. which would be a bit of a bummer, but... Oh, and we can also apply this Icy Touch. The next character wounded by an attack on whom a corruption card has not already been played receives 2 corruption points. Place this discard Icy Touch if it is not played with a character. Okay, during the organization phase, a character may... Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to play Stirring Bones. Applied, we're going to... Stirring Bones come crawling out of the Woden foothills, and I'm going to apply Icy Touch. Yeah, I'm going to say they play many turns and doublings. Okay, so Saruman as a ranger is able to play this card to cancel an attack by undead, and so that cancels that attack. And honestly, they wouldn't really need to tap. In which case, I'm going to say that this, this is a permanent event. It doesn't, okay, yeah, this is a permanent event. I could choose which I could just play this at any time and choose which attack it's applied to. We were getting so many permanent events up here. Yeah, so I think that's what happens. So the Stirring Bones come out, and Saruman uses many turns and doublings to... we'll say that Icy Touch was already played, and then Stirring Bones comes out, and so the potential of having a plus 10 prowess 2-strike attack is a bit too scary and not worth it, especially when we've still got that Marvel's Told card in hand. We could get rid of the Moon is Dead next turn. Not worth the risk. Don't want to lose Theoden. Okay, so that was what, 1, 2, and they have. We could potentially play 2 more. I could play Lure of Expedience on Theoden. You know what? That's what I'm going to do. These corruption cards don't do me any good sitting in my hand, so there we go. Lure of Expedience. So every time this party acquires an item going forward, while that card's on Theoden, he's forced to make a corruption check. Alright, and that's all I have that I can do, so they arrive safely in Lorien. Hooray for them. By the way, Choking Shadows has just been sitting here. That's what happens when there's so many cards on the table. But yeah, Choking Shadows is not applicable anymore. That was back at the Stone Circle. Yeah, so as I said, Theoden and Saruman have arrived in Lorien, and arrived safely. Theoden's got a little bit of corruption problem happening, but hopefully we can deal with it. And everyone brings their hand back up to 8. So 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Orc Raiders and the Knights of Dol Amroth. Alright. These are more... So they are playable at Dol Amroth, which is in Belfalas, which is another one. Yeah, Belfalas. The Men of Lebanon are in Unfalas. So both of these factions are ones that get buffed by the Sentinels of Numenor. So that's great. We really need to get down there and start getting these guys on side. Yes, I think that's more important. I think that may even be more important than the Anduril quest. But let's focus on what we're doing at the moment. Alright, so Aragorn is traveling from Fangorn into the Gap of Isen to the Glittering Caves, and oh wait, gotta bring their hand back up to 8 as well. There's a ring, and there's a ring. Okay, here we go, finding those rings finally. Okay, so there we go, 2 rings and 2 rings that they could be. Awesome. All right. Now, back to Aragorn. and co. So they're traveling through one wilderness, and that means that Aragorn will have to make a corruption check. He has 3 corruption points, and he rolled a 9, so that's fine. He passes his corruption check. And now, the Glittering Caves is 2 and 2, so we can draw 1 without penalty, and then another if we want to allow them to draw 3 and up our hazard limit by 1. So we drew Wolf Riders. Alright, yet another orc card that benefits being played with other orc cards. Alright, so we're going to push that off to the side. And I don't think we want to draw anything else. We are spoiled for choice as far as stuff to do, so I'm going to leave it at that. And then go to the other side. They're going to try to hamper us if they can. We're traveling a pretty safe path, though. The Glittering Caves is a ruin and lair. That's the one. The Balrog of Moria. Oh, wow. Yeah, the Balrog of Moria is a permanent event. And, yes. When in play, the Lorien is considered a freehold for the purposes of healing and playing hazards, and +2 to prowess of all attacks in Holland, Redhorn Gate, and Wool and Foothills, all automatic attacks. All right, so that's pretty good. That team over there, although I don't know this. Although I don't know this as the player that I am, needs to go to information sites, and some of the best ones are in and around Moria, in the Wood Foothills and around the Demeril Dale. So yeah, they upping the prowess of the automatic attacks there could be nice. They're headed to Lorien, where they're hoping to heal their friend Hema. Putting the kibosh on that is definitely nice. And meanwhile, me and my company are nowhere near the Redhorn Gate, nowhere near Moria. So this would be a great permanent event to play. Now what they could do is they could go and challenge the Balrog and try and beat the automatic attack of 1 strike with a prowess of 18. The additional automatic attack, it also has the orc automatic attack, which is super buffed as well. So yeah, I don't see anyone attempting that. But yeah, there we go. Alright, so that's 1 card played, and right, that was 1. I drew 1, I could still draw another. Icy Touch. Alright, so another Icy Touch. I guess I could duplicate that. We have so many permanent events. It's getting a little ridiculous. But I guess I could play that in addition to the other Icy Touch and just have that as a loaded gun ready for whenever. Holy moly. The hazard permanent events, they're getting out of control. But I don't want to keep it in my hand. It doesn't do me any good there. Just going to get discarded. So there we go. Nice. Okay. And I don't have anything else I can do to those fellas, so they make it from Wellinghall to the Glittering Caves unmolested. Alrighty. And now I'm back over here, and I'm needing to think what to do. Yes. Need to think what to do. I really feel like, the Reforging and the Anduril are both need to be played by a sage at a site where information is played, and they're essentially the same. This one, Anduril, says the sage makes a corruption check modified by -3. Yeah. That seems like the harder one to pull off, and so that might be the one to do first, and Reforging we can attempt later, once we have Narsil in hand. So I think I'm going to discard Reforging for now, and
Alright, and then we discard Welling Hall. And we're at the Glittering Caves, and Saruman is at Lorien. Okay, and everyone has 8 cards. Great. Keeping 8 cards in everyone's hand is like the biggest chore. Alright, Glittering Caves. What do we want to do here? We have a Pukul Man attack with 1 strike with a prowess of 9. And I have to keep in mind that Holland, Redhorn Gate, Woden Foothills. This is not those. Okay, so all of the automatic attacks at those places get +2 prowess thanks to the Balrog. Yeah, but that does not apply here. So, yeah, we just need someone to take on this Pukul Man attack, and I'm inclined, actually, anybody could. I don't want to give Aragorn another corruption point, so I'm not going to have him be the one to tap to take this place. So I suppose Aragorn could tap to take on these guys. He has a prowess of 6. Watch me regret this, but yeah, I'm going to have one of these fellows. I mean, the other thing we could do, you know what? The other thing that we could do is just have Quickbeam take it on. Why not? I'd rather lose Quickbeam than lose Aragorn. So yes, Quickbeam's going to tap to take the strike, and he just needs to beat a strike with a prowess of 9. He has 6. He rolled a 6, so that's all good. And now we can tap the site, and our friend Baragond is going to tap. Holy moly! Baragond is going to tap to pull the sapling of the White Tree. Hooray! Which is worth 1 and will be worth 2 once we store it at Minas Tirith. Can't go back there this go round because it's already in the discard pile, but we can next go round. That's what's fun about playing 2 decks. Yeah, one of the many things. So that's what they did there. Meanwhile, over here, yes, Lorien is now a freehold because of the Balrog in play. Lorien is now a freehold, so Haemon's not going to be able to heal here. We may have to move away from Lorien and go to Rivendell, actually. Although I don't want to do that. We might even go to Edelond, honestly, because yes, I kind of want Saruman to help with the recruiting of these factions. It doesn't have to be Aragorn, and it may be better. We may be better served having it be Saruman. But here at Lorien, safe and sound, I will have Saruman tap to play Marvel's Told, and we're going to force the discard if the moon is. Although, come to think of it, we could Marvel's Told, a hazard non-environment. Hello. Never mind. We're going to get rid of that dadgum Balrog. Man, Marvel's Told, I'll tell you what, it gets rid of the nastiest things. Gets rid of Nazgul, gets rid of Balrogs. There's nothing like a good story. So different IP. Yeah, there we go. Balrog is out. That's a better use of Marvel's Told. And so now we can heal at the end of the turn. All right. So and nobody else wants to do anything else. So we're going to discard 1 and bring our hand back up to 8. I'm running out of battery on this phone, on this camera. Yeah. I don't want to discard anything. So 1, there's Narsil. And 2, Doors of Night. Okay. And then over here, I'm going to discard the Barrow-Right, White. And there's Goldberry. All right. So Goldberry. All right. We're going to take a break, charge the camera. We'll be back later.